friends, I'm Henna Jayanth. Didn't intend to imitate James Bond. Tracing my roots has been quite a gripping bedtime story for us growing up. We are the third generation of settlers in Kerala from Gujarat. So much so that I consider myself more Mallu than Guju. So much so that I would pick dosha over dokla, although both Onam and Diwali take equal importance. My father is a devoted social worker and an investment consultant. He is at the helm of every community service organization in the city. Rotary Club, Trauma Care, Association for the Blind, you name it, he is actively there. His grandfather migrated from Kutch, Gujarat to Calicut in the 1930s, and his father is remembered not for his coconut trade, but the Dandi March he organized, participating the Gujarati community here in solidarity to Mahatma Gandhi and the freedom movement. When we eventually got freedom and the country was partitioned, my mother's grandparents were among thousands who fled from Karachi. This family settled in Tirur. My mother was born in Calicut and her father died when she was 5 years old and was raised by the mother. Maybe the matriarchal upbringing gave us all independent perspectives and individual views. As a result, my mother is an active volcano, from being a cricket player representing Kerala to a no-nonsense teacher at Gujarati school to being the principal in the same school to even being elected as the chairperson in the corporation elections in Calicut. And all this while also grabbing the mic to sing every chance she gets. The Gujarati conservative middle-class community has a certain brand image. God is our money, and counting money is our meditation. We are therefore money lenders and traders. We are also vegetarians because kindness to animals is important to us. We also take sticks only to play dandiya, and our breakfast starts with jalebi, and the ultimate dream of a Guju is to go to America. But we also have exceptions. We have the Ambanis and the Adanis. We also have Mahatma Gandhi. When we are supposed to be a dry state of teetotalers, we can get the scotch of our choice just by a phone call. And you're not always peace-loving. All these mixes and mashes of history, personality traits, beliefs, interests, and probably cuisines gave my parents the courage to bring up my brother and I with immense freedom to pursue our interests. For those of you who do not know, the Guju community is very close-knit and we traditionally follow social norms which are predominantly prescribed separately for boys and girls. Staying out late to play is out of question for girls, but boys can come back at any time of the hour in the night. Cars are a boy's toy, while what is it for girls? Dolls, kitchen sets. Cricket is of course for boys. That the Indian women's team is doing really better than the men's team is, slightly going unnoticed. Yet, completing education in many instances is a man's privilege, while getting married and looking after the home is something girls are traditionally expected to do. I've seen so many of my friends live through this, going abroad, living alone, be it for study or work, boys, because girls can't protect themselves. Girls are fragile and girls are girls. Business endeavors are for boys, and racing. We can only think of Lewis Hamilton's or Michael Schumacher's, 100% belonging to the boys' world and the men. The primary responsibility and constant worry of parents regarding girls is to get them married off at the earliest. Personally, I do not buy into gender divisions like a lot of my progressive and realistic friends. Usually, we get labeled as being boyish or a tomboy, which I'm really not. I can take hours to dress up, or I can also get ready in 2 minutes when I have my track and t-shirt day. I love playing with my hair, haircuts and colors and whatnot. I was also the first one to do the bungee jumping when I was in 8th grade when it came into my city. And I love watching rom-coms, but I also enjoy watching action-packed thrillers. My forays into fields that are traditionally male-dominant have never been acts of rebellion. I just let my passion lead me. In fact, what I enjoy doing often takes priority over what I'm qualified to do. By my education, I should be working in an HR department in the corporate world. After my BBM in Finance at Jain University, Bangalore, and International Human Resource Management at the University of Manchester, UK, but what I love doing turned out to be different. I'm someone who follows her passions and who's lucky enough to have parents on her side. I grew up in an apartment where it's okay for boys and girls to play out late, and my mother was a great catalyst for my cricket enthusiasm when I went to represent Kerala in 2009. I love to travel to exotic and unexplored places and run a travel company, helping others find themselves through travel, just like I continue to do. I've also done a bit of modeling and had a lead role in a movie that failed miserably. I yearn for that adrenaline rush and have done the longest zip line, scuba diving, but mostly I love to drive. Which brings me to what I'm doing here. My love for driving started way before I started driving. Upon turning 18, my first action was not to hit the bar and have a tequila shot. It was to sign up for driving classes. While modeling and acting came my way through, by pure luck and chance, driving was a pursuit I was determined to get on with. Any chance I got, I would get behind the wheels. But living in a world with traditional worldviews, I never once thought of anything beyond the greatest reward of being the assigned driver from Calicut to Wayanad. A quick detour to the world of social media with which I have a love-hate relationship. I tend to deal with a little bit of anxiety, sometimes derailing into depression, which often makes life difficult for those of you who can sympathize. However, social media also changed my life. During one of those difficult days, I came across an advertisement with regard to racing. Great! I also thought about Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton. But on closer inspection, I noticed the word women. My eyes lit up, my questions shut up, and I was hooked. Looking back, I don't remember my exact emotion. Was I surprised that women could race? Was I excited that this was something I had been craving for without me even realizing it? Either way, I jumped at it head first. I was not letting go of anything that had women and racing in it. As in always the case, my first time was a bummer. Although I made it to the reserve driver in the TEDxAJCE Championship, and a reserve driver only comes on track if any other drivers back out, but all of them were there in the best form and I stayed far away from the wheels. But here's the thing about being nice and friendly. Some people might call it networking, but I got to meet with Diljit, who owns the DTS racing team and hails from Thrissur, another town in Kerala, and who accepted me to be as a part of his team for the TEDxAJCE Novice Championship. Oh my God! Imagine your biggest dream. Now imagine achieving it. If it was to win a Nobel, imagine your name on it. If it is the Oscars, picture yourself getting it. This is what it felt like to see my name on a car. Year 2018, for the first time in my 26 years of living, I got to take part in a frickin' car race. How ridiculously awesome is that? Another girl and I raced against 20 boys, but more than winning, I could not get over the feeling of being on track and the smell of the rubber burning. I don't know if you can understand the feeling about this, but the sound of 22 cars on the grid was insane. The same year, Red Bull chose me for their opinion leadership program, and I'm privileged that I was even considered. I believe I'm invited to this TEDx talk because of the opportunities that life has been kind enough to grant me. But I'm here not because I think highly of myself, but because I believe there's something in my story that could ignite a fire in someone else. A Guju girl from Malu land, from a regular income family, blessed with a family who lives with the policy of letting their children choose their path. The result? A driving obsessed me taking part in Formula 4 races. It was a dream come true, one that also has helped me keep marriage at bay for as long as I chose to. Let's hope that this part of the talk does not change my parents' point of view. So here's a note to the parents. Let your children fly. They might be the next superheroes or superheroes. Here's a note to the boys. Let's face it, it's a man's world. Do your part in encouraging the girls and women around you and tell them that they can. Here's a note to the girls. I followed my heart and here I am today. This is not to say that being a wife and a mother are not big pursuits. They all are. And you deserve to do what you want, irrespective of what people say. And here's a note to the depressed. It ends. Get help and get involved in activities. It helped me. I think it could help you too. And finally, here's a note to the racing enthusiasts. I'm looking for sponsors, so call me maybe. Thank you, everyone.